Good morning. Yeah, I'm in the kitchen, dining area. Just about to leave. I'm running a little behind. It's close to 8:30, and I wanted to be at the hospital at 8:30. Just a couple quick things, and then we'll get on the road. Um, got a wonderful surprise in the mail yesterday from Angie and Guy, former real estate clients, and Angie made this envelope and this card with a wonderful message. And this, I assume Angie made it. I'm not sure if it was her or her daughter Hannah or maybe her son Curry. But anyway, it's beautiful. She mentioned she knew I appreciated handmade things, and I do. And this is very special and meaningful. So thank you very much. Thank you. If I have time, I'll tell you a story about one of my favorite artists in Mexico, Efrain Gonzalez. And this is one of my favorite paintings of him. And this structure up to the right here was a 3-story structure. This is actually the back side of it. And it was a little teeny funky restaurant called Quue, Q-U-E. And it had this Ford truck on the street behind it, and there were weeds going up around the tires. The truck hadn't been moved in years, and it was so quintessential Mexico, and I just loved it. By the way, Q-U-E means what in Spanish. So it was kind of an irreverent, funky little restaurant. Got to make sure I've got my keys here. I'm checking my fanny pack. Okay, we're ready to roll. And I don't have any notes today. I'm running a little behind, as I mentioned. I'm waking up at like 4:30 in the morning, and trying not to be rushing around like a crazy person, so I'm just trying to take it at a certain pace, because I find when I'm rushing, I'm making a lot of mistakes. So just take it at a steady pace. Today is the beginning of a several-day sale that Amazon has annually. I think they call it Prime Days. So I definitely wanted to take advantage of that. And I ordered what I thought were a bunch of little items. Nothing too expensive. And it was about $350. It adds up. So that took me a while because I just didn't want to willy-nilly order anything. I wanted to be as deliberate and thoughtful as possible, especially on the more important items. And one of the things that the speech therapist showed me the other day is things that you can do in the home that help orient the patient. Because for patients with stroke and dementia and those kinds of things, there tends to be a lot of confusion, and you want to kind of have an environment that makes them feel reassured and comfortable. And so one of these things is to have a special kind of clock that also displays, besides the time, the day, the month, the date, all those kinds of things. And so they actually have, Susie doesn't have dementia. I just want to tell people that. But, you know, there are dementia products that are beneficial to stroke patients. So they have these dementia clocks that are pretty clear. Like today, it even tells you that it's morning, afternoon, or evening on the clock. Gives the date just real clear. It's not like the digital numbers. It's a digital clock, but the digital numbers, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. They're not the easiest font to read, so this is more of a normal print look. So, and it has all different kinds of alarm settings. I'm not really interested in that. You know, it's alarms for when to take meds and when to take a nap and when to eat and all that. I don't think I want to be having a bunch of ringing noises or whatever it is. So that was one thing. And then a large wall calendar where you're kind of Xing out the past days. And, just today is July 8th, and letting her know that. And they have kind of it's not a whiteboard, but it's a plastic covered form in her room that she faces when she's laying in bed, and basically her name's at the top. It's the day and the date, and it's who's on staff for her. So who's the charge nurse, and that's the nurse in charge of all the nurses, and then the nurse, bedside nurse, and the bedside aide or attendant. I'm not sure what the words are for that. So I can see, and she has a big analog clock in there, and I was asking the speech therapist the other day, is digital better than analog or analog over digital? And she says, no, it's just if she knows how to read digital or analog. But the ones that are the dementia clocks are all digital. So anyway, ordered that, and either it'll come, I think you get a choice of it coming this afternoon or this evening between, I think, 5 and 10 or something like that, or 4 in the morning and 8 in the morning. So I did 4 to 8. I think it's less traffic, easier for the delivery person, and then I think I definitely won't be leaving before 8, so I feel confident I can get all the stuff off the porch. Don't like leaving things out unnecessarily. And Pietro, my neighbor, is really good at looking out and giving me a heads up text when things arrive. And I've got like a little teeny wood pallet on end that's kind of blocking part of the porch, and part of it's, you can get to, so it's not a total barrier. Anyway, trying to use that as a screen to kind of disguise packages. I don't know if that really works, but we haven't had any problems in our neighborhood, but we're home a lot. So I checked this morning to see if the wheelchair is still on track to arrive tomorrow, and according to the order page, it's on track, but that can change, just like it changed with the other wheelchair that I had to cancel because the date kept getting pushed back. I would classify yesterday as both a plus and a minus. Several pluses, actually. One, when I got there, Susie was about 15 minutes into speech therapy, and she was fully dressed, and she was in her wheelchair, and that hasn't happened, I think, in about 10 days, so that was a huge win. I don't know the whole story behind that, but it was a welcome surprise. Then Becca, who's the speech therapist, worked with her on a variety of things, and I'm taping a lot of these as kind of tutorials for me to learn and use some of these things for her. At the end of the day, it's all blur, so a lot of times I just have a very little remnant of a memory of what was covered. After that, Nicole, the physical therapist, came in, and I don't know what she did with Susie. Maybe we did some bed transfers. I don't remember. It's a blur, but we did stuff, and I videotaped it. Then after that was occupational therapy, and that was with Alex, and Alex said, Susie, we need to train Joel on how to do a transfer from the wheelchair to the car, and the car to the wheelchair. And so Susie was shaking her head, no, don't want to do it. And I said, listen, Susie, you're the boss of these guys, but you're not the boss of me, and if you're going to go home, we're going to do this today, okay? And she didn't protest after that. She participated. I was able to do the transfer both back into the car and out of the car. It's first time, so it's not all smooth moving, but one of the things that I noticed is that Alex, when she was putting Susie in the car, sometimes you're making intermediate moves and you're just doing it slowly and methodically rather than kind of to me, I'm kind of thinking like CrossFit. You know, a move has to be fluid and continuous. This isn't the case. You know, you can do it step by step, incrementally, and inch by inch. So that was a good thing for me to realize that I didn't need to do it in one fluid movement. I'm sure there were a lot of things that I made mistakes on. One of the things that I'm still confused about is which side, you know, the deal is Susie's supposed to lean toward me as much as she can, so I'm not pulling her up. She's shifting her weight forward over her feet, even though one of her feet really is not functioning. And I have to be careful with that foot to make sure that the foot is flat on the ground, the ankle isn't bent, because it could easily twist, because she just doesn't have the muscle, it's not working right there, so it's easy for her to really injure that ankle, and I don't want to do that. So I have to be aware of that, and you have to provide additional support to that leg by leaning my leg against it. And again, I don't want to hurt her by just muscling something, so I want to have proper technique. I don't really have that yet, and I had a frank conversation with Alex, and I said, listen, I can't afford to pay for her to take a gurney ride home, and I can't really afford for her to take this wheelchair van set up, which I think is a fair amount of money. You know, it's not a taxi ride or a Uber ride. So I said, listen, I'm not trying to pressure you. I said, what's the likelihood of me being able to take her? You saw what I did, and it wasn't perfect. I'm not telling it's perfect. I want her to be safe. And so she said, we'll do it again today. And yesterday, the vehicle that they have, it wasn't my vehicle. They do have a RAV that we practiced on, but it's either brand new or relatively new. So it's a bigger vehicle than what we have. This is a 2003 RAV, so 20 plus years old, and so anyway, so the pluses for yesterday were Susie in the chair, the transfers from wheelchair to car and back again. She was a real trooper with all her therapies. I did some stretching on the PT, and there was another PT session in the afternoon. Did some stretching, and again, I'm trying to record this stuff so I have a clue about what I did. And one of the challenges that I've had, because that's a new YouTube channel, they're only letting me upload a couple videos a day, even though I have several to upload. And I'm trying to upload these videos that I'm using as just tutorials for me, as videos that the public doesn't see. So you wouldn't see them unless they give you a link. So that's going on. I picked up the meds, the free meds at the Better Health Pharmacy yesterday. They're very organized. I was very impressed. It's quite an operation. That was a win. I'm trying to think of what else was a win. Oh, I kind of went off the reservation in terms of my diet. I wasn't eating a lot of junk food, but I went to a teeny little hole-in-the-wall Mexican joint that I like. I thought, okay, this might be my last kind of independent day, quasi-independent day. So I went in this little place. I don't even know the name of it, but it's really authentic. And they have a thing called the Super Taco, which isn't that big, but I think what makes it super is they put some side stuff on it, like avocado and things like that. And so I asked the guy behind the counter, how many Super Tacos should I get? And he looks at my belly and he says 3. And I said, well, does that mean because I have a big belly, I would get 4 if I didn't have a big belly? Or you judging me that I can eat 3? Anyway, we had a little laugh. It was a good interaction. I'm here. I'm running behind, as I mentioned. There are probably other things that I could tell you, but I need a scoop. Love you guys. See you later.